Hello and welcome back once again to the Wrestling Group. I'm your host today, Ryan, and I am joined by Matthew.
Hello, guys. How's it going?
So today we are going to be looking at our top 5 women's wrestlers in the world right now. We were talking about what we should do going forward, looking at what our next top 5 videos should be, and we decided, some of the best wrestlers in the world right now are in fact the women's wrestlers, and sometimes they don't get as much of the credit as what they do deserve. So we thought, you know what, it'll be interesting to do. Matt's going to do his 5, I'm going to do my 5, and then at the end we're going to look at trying to pick an ultimate 5 between us. Obviously Matt mainly focuses on TNA, WWE, and NXT, whereas I mainly focus on AEW, Ring of Honor, and New Japan. So, how easy or difficult did you find it to pick your 5 top women wrestlers, Matty?
Well, it's a hard one. It really is. As you said, some of the best wrestling that you see now these days is the women's division. Um, never really used to get a actual main stage, especially in WWE back in the day. They were just like divas. They weren't even treated as wrestlers. So now to see them, actually getting the limelight and getting actual long matches now, and the crowd absolutely respond back to them in a better way than what they was back in the day. Not that we all didn't like the ones back in the day too.
Well, that's it, isn't it? It's gone are the days of the divas, shall we say. There was the 2-3 minute matches that we got. We used to get like the bra and panties matches. You used to get the cat fights and all them sort of things. But we've got some of the women's wrestlers in the world right now can actually wrestle a lot better than quite a lot of the men.
Well,
So,
yeah, definitely.
and you couldn't say that back in the day, could you? You couldn't say Kelly was better than Shawn Michaels. You know what I mean? So.
But then again, what women's wrestler are you going to put above Shawn Michaels?
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
I
Maybe
don't,
AJ Styles in a wig.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so what we're going to do, like I say, is we're going to start with obviously our number 5 picks, work our way down to number 1, and then at the end see if we can pick 5 between us. Obviously, as always, feel free to play along at home. Leave your top 5 women's wrestlers in the world right now in the comment section below, and we will get back to you on them. And the reason why we decided to look at the wrestling right now is because if you do top 5 overall, as great as a lot of these women's wrestlers are right now, probably still wouldn't make the cut just yet, only because they're active. So when you think of the greatest of all time, a lot of time you do look at the legend side of it rather than the active women. But I do believe, to be fair, that there is one or two that could actually even make an overall top 5. So we'll start at number 5. So who have you got, Matt, as your number 5?
Okay, so we're going to go with one of the top 4 signings of NXT in the last year. Well, Jordan only got to sign this year, but yeah, Jordan Grace, we've gone with number 5. She's done a lot in TNA. She had great matches with Mickie James and all, Zack Ryder. She can, as we were discussing, some of the women are just better than the men. Not that I think that Jordan Grace is better than Matt Cardona, but
Yeah,
but she is
phenomenal.
definitely better than like Santino Marella. Our truth. She's definitely better than, well, probably better than other people as well. But she's recently only just come into NXT properly as a full-time signing. Obviously, last year she only did the odd thing as the TNA Knockouts champion. And made the odd Royal Rumble appearance. I think she did 2 years in a run
Yeah.
as a TNA surprise. And then signed this year, I think, on the Royal Rumble, I think, was it?
Yeah, just after the Royal Rumble, yes, her first appearance technically as a full-time WWE superstar was the Royal Rumble, because she was supposed to, her contract was actually due up in June, but TNA agreed to let her get out of the contract in January.
Yeah, I remember listening to the CCV interview with her, and she's talking about because obviously they say like how about because she didn't know she was going to be signed with WWE or not,
Yeah.
and he said if you're watching this, I'm either a full-time WWE superstar or not.
Yeah, yeah. See, like Jordan Grace is a phenomenal talent for the last, say, probably 3 years, maybe a bit longer. She's been one of the best women's wrestlers. And normally I would have her in like a top five list. The reason why she isn't is solely because she's just not done enough in NXT for me personally. You know,
Oh,
she's
yeah.
not NXT North American champion. She's not NXT Women's champion. And to be honest with you, I'll be 100% honest. Like, I feel like she could have skipped NXT. She'd already done the bit in NXT as the TNA Women's Champion, so she didn't really need to go back to NXT. Plus, like, you know, we've had Stephanie and Julia both become the NXT Women's Champion, and then I feel like she should have been next. So when Stephanie dropped it to go to the main roster, it should have been to Jordan Grace. So I feel like it's not her fault, it's booking. And I think the booking's been wrong. I think Jordan Grace should be the current NXT Women's Champion. If she was, she would have definitely made my list.
Fair enough. Yeah, I
That's
mean,
booking.
I get that. Like, obviously, yeah, she hasn't done much since being a full-time signing.
No.
Yeah, obviously, she'd done the majority of her stuff last year, and she did have great matches with like Roxanne Perez and stuff like that. I thought that the rumors obviously were that she was meant to be signing with NXT with SmackDown soon, but
Yeah.
obviously she's now in facing for the NXT World Title
Yeah.
in a pay-per-view. So hopefully, she can grab the title there then, and then maybe continue her career a little bit in NXT as world champ. Because you've just signed two major superstars. Well, technically, I mean three, because Roxanne Perez was really big on NXT
Yeah.
as well. You've just signed like three really big people up. So, push them first, concentrate on them. Julia's just become, the US champ on SmackDown. And I hopefully now, she can bring some credibility to the title and, give her a really big push, because I feel like the crowd hasn't really been behind her as much yet since signing
No, yeah.
coming up.
Yeah, I agree. I think out of the signings that they made, Stephanie's obviously been the top with the fans. Stephanie
Yeah,
Vaquer, then probably Jordan to be fair, second, then Julia about third.
yeah,
So yeah, now is the chance to really show what Julia can do on the main roster.
yeah.
So yeah, you've gone for Jordan Grace at number five, and I've gone for Rhea Ripley.
Oh,
I
okay.
feel like Rhea can't be denied on a top five list right now. You know, she's getting to the point now where she's becoming known outside the world of wrestling. And I know that sounds mad to some people. That is a really big deal. You know, with the likes of TikTok and YouTube becoming massive over the last 2, 3 years, there is people like Buddy Matthews said in the interview with CVV, he gets people coming up and asking for photos with Rhea Ripley. And they go, oh, what's your favorite match? And they go, oh no, I just know it's the woman off TikTok. You know what I mean? They've never actually seen her wrestle. So like she's getting to that star quality that people know her outside of wrestling now. So she is becoming like a massive deal, if you like.
Yeah,
Obviously, former world champion. She's not long just had the world title. She's a massive powerhouse. You know exactly what you're going to get with Rhea Ripley. I can't remember many matches that were bad of hers.
no, yeah, I agree. I mean, she's had, I think, all their matches. It's always one. You get your toilet room break ones, but you don't really ever skip a Rhea Ripley match. Most of the people will obviously definitely watch it 100% 9 times out of 10.
Well, that's it. Even if her opponents aren't great, like she just faced Roxanne
Yeah,
last night. I didn't think the match was
no,
that
not
great.
Roxanne, sorry, Raquel.
Raquel, sorry,
Yeah,
yeah, Raquel. I don't think the match was exactly great or perfect, but I still think Rhea come out looking great. She done the finish it off the
the
table
table.
in the corner. It looked good. It's something you're going to talk about, isn't it, afterwards?
Well, yeah, definitely. Bit shaky though when they were
It
on there.
was it was shaky. Like the ref had to keep hold of it. I was surprised that they did it. To be fair, um, but it's still something that you're going to remember and something you're going to talk about. So even if she's not having the match tonight, it's still going to be a talking point.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm always a fan. I don't mind. I'm always a fan of like tables being laid against something. I remember Edge and Christian obviously used to do it with the ladders, don't they? And they would
Yeah.
sit on top of it.
I was disappointed someone didn't go through the table, but
Yeah. Should have
but
done.
again, Rhea's still quite young, so she's still got a lot of years ahead of her, you know. And again, with these new wrestlers coming up from NXT, like when Jordan Grace does get to the main roster, can you imagine Jordan Grace versus Rhea Ripley? I think it's going to be a fantastic match, singles powerhouse, you know, that type of stuff that we want to see going forward. To me, it might annoy some people, but I'm going to say she is basically what China would have been with talent.
Yeah, fair assumption. I got it. I mean,
Like,
China was obviously, yeah, she didn't really do much, but she was just more big for what she was. Like that's
yeah,
why
she was great. She was a powerhouse, and that's what they needed at the time and stuff. But what I'm saying is, she wasn't great in the ring. Whereas Rhea's got that aura about her that China had, but can also back it up in the ring.
Yeah, definitely.
So she's my number 5 anyway. So have you got as number 4?
Rhea Ripley. Funnily enough. It's mine, yeah. So I think we could just move on to your number 4, really, because we pretty much just covered everything with Rhea.
Yeah, no other points to make. She is China with talent.
Yeah, with talent. Yeah, I mean, just as you say, yeah, seeing these new women that come up, it'll be great to see her have these matches with and stuff like that. She's also married to Buddy Matthews, so hopefully we can get him back.
No, he's staying in AEW. So I'll go into my number 4 then. My number 4 will definitely make your list, but obviously isn't in your number 4 position because that is Rhea. And that is Stephanie Vaquer. You know, she's had a brilliant run since joining WWE. I did enjoy her run where she had a good few matches in AEW. Obviously, she wasn't signed at the time to AEW. She was the CMLL Women's Champion, if I remember rightly, when she was wrestling in AEW. She had some really good matches there. Then, obviously, WWE managed to pick up probably hottest, I'd say, free agent.
Wasn't she the New Japan Strong Women Champion as well while she was in AEW?
Yeah, she was New Japan Strong Women's Champion. Yeah, she's been New Japan Strong Women's Champion. She's fantastic. I was absolutely gutted. Like obviously, like say I do watch WWE, but I am more of an AEW fan now. And I was devastated that Tony Khan let that one slip. But you know, sometimes some people just want WWE, and that was the case with her. You know, she's already been the NXT North American Women's Champion. She's already been the NXT Women's Champion. She's just come up to the main roster. She had a really good showing at the Money in the Bank ladder match. She's massively over with the crowd. Literally, sky's the limit. You know, she's, for me, the best out of the new 4 horsewomen, if you like. She's got the potential to be like a bigger star as Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair are.
Yeah. Totally agree. I think
totally agree.
The position that she's in. That's the only thing I don't agree
about. Yeah, number 4 for me. I think she's great. Don't get me wrong. I think she's great, and I feel like not putting her in 4 isn't a slight on her. It's just the other 3 I think are better right now.
Yeah.
I feel like she's got the most out of all of them in my list. She's got the most potential to go up and up and up.
So, if we are just going to move forward again, you know, number 3 for me was Stephanie Vaquer. Again, we're just covering it all now, but I agree. Like she had great showings at the Royal Rumble, 100%. You know, the sky's the limit, 100%. I think I don't want her to just straight away take the world title.
No.
Take the IC title, do what they're doing with Julia, add a bunch of credibility to the title. Build these people around these titles, so then when the next person actually takes the title, it means something when it finally happens. Like no one cares. I don't really care about Becky Lynch versus Lara Valkyria for the 10th time.
What show is Steph on? Is she on Raw?
Yeah, so she's Raw based. I He hasn't had no matches on SmackDown. Well, unless he did them whole Money in the Bank thing, because they'll have the whole competitors obviously like against each other and stuff.
He's done like 6-woman tag or something. Yeah.
I think they had one the night before the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Raw base, so the IC title would be perfect for them, wouldn't it?
yeah, definitely build her up on that first. But at the same time, like the crowd are really over with her, so I think they'd be happy with whatever they do with her at the moment. I even she could even win the next Royal Rumble. To be honest, I can't see why they choose anyone else over her at the moment. She's like really over. It'd make 100% sense to like they can easily build her up until Royal Rumble now, and then once that hits, do it, and then maybe put the world title on her at Mania because you know her first Mania. And hopefully she'll have a really good challenger at that point.
So what's Rumble January, isn't it? So what are we now? Oh yeah, we're months away, so she could easily have 1 or 2 IC reigns in that time beforehand.
Yeah, but I don't. They might even put the tag belt to put her in a tag team and something. The tag belt, some crap. I don't know.
The only tag team I think would have worked would have been Julia and Stephanie as a tag, because like people like that in NXT when they done the odd tag match together, they did enjoy it. I don't think either one of them should really be in a team unless it was with each other.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree.
So where's she coming for you? Number 3.
Yeah, number 3. So my number 3 was Stephanie McCurr. As you're pointing out, she's won all these titles already. You know, she's the first one in NXT to women to hold both simultaneous. But well, that's what they go with. But obviously, it was meant to be Mandy Rose, isn't it? Because she had the NXT Women's World Title in the UK, but doesn't really count those ones because they unified them straight away. That was the whole point, and then just
it was a unifying match, whereas the other one wasn't, was it?
Yeah.
Stephanie won both. Did she lose? She didn't. Did she? Didn't she vacate the North American?
I think she defended while she was holding both titles. I think she did it once or twice, maybe.
And then vacated it, then didn't she? Yeah.
Vacated, the next night. Yeah. So she done the. I think she did the double match on one of the pay-per-views.
Yes. She just done one recently, didn't she? She done the Mexican World Collide. She done a tag team match, and then she was in the Women's Money in the Bank same night, wasn't it?
Yeah. Double G.
She did. Tell you what, she's lucky to come out of it as well, because Chad Gable did that and ended up injured.
Is that what he got injured from? Because he had matches.
I don't think he's wrestled since, has he?
Yeah, I'm sure he has. Yeah, he was in I'm sure he was on the
3-minute match on Speed.
I can't remember. I've seen him wrestle since then.
I don't think he has.
A triple threat or something. I feel like
maybe. Anyway, Chad Gable's not on this list. So number 3.
There he is. He's wearing a wig.
Number 3 for me is Mercedes Moné. Massively improved since joining AEW. She just felt stale in WWE. I'd gone from really, really loving Sasha Banks in NXT. She was great as the NXT Women's Champion. Then when she first come up onto the main roster and they did the whole Revolution thing, she was one of the better ones of the 4 women. She had some really great matches originally against Charlotte. And then there was just a period where she just sort of went stale. She botched quite a few things, and she just really didn't seem to be enjoying what she was doing, and it was showing in the matches. And then obviously when they had the whole thing where her and Naomi walked out after losing the tag belts and that. And then she showed up in Japan, showed up at Wrestle Kingdom, and became the 2nd ever IWGP champion. She only had about 3 matches and she broke her foot, didn't she? So there wasn't really much to go off where you're thinking, are we going to see Sasha from NXT, or are we going to see, where she basically phoned it in? But what I can say is I wasn't overly impressed when they were going to announce her for AEW. I was thinking they're putting all their eggs in one basket here. She might not be great, but you know what? She went away. She trained in Mexico. She trained in Japan, and she's come into AEW. Yes, she's holding 6 championships right now across multiple promotions. But she doesn't have bad matches. She's not had a bad match. She's had better matches than she ever did in WWE on the main roster. She's probably even having better matches than she ever did on NXT as well. She's also wrestling for multiple promotions. So, yes, she's the champion, but she is actually turning up at these companies. She's wrestling on CMLL. She's wrestling in New Japan Pro Wrestling. She's wrestling at House of Glory. She's wrestling at Rev Pro. You know, she is showing up and she's having great matches. And I am quite honestly happy to say I was wrong when I thought she was going to come in and just take a pay packet, and she hasn't done that.
Okay, fair enough.
So, thoughts? Do you have any?
And to be honest, since she's left WWE, I have not seen. Like, obviously, I've seen everything about her, but I've not watched really.
The match.
I don't think I've watched any of their matches since she's left. To be honest, it's like, but yeah, I mean, congratulations to her. Like, yeah, seeing like she's got these belts. Everyone just calls her Mercedes Hogan.
Yeah. I mean, they're all staying around and saying that she's got what do they call it? Creative control. I mean, if she's got creative control across 6 companies, then fair play. You know what I mean?
It's their, their own doing, I guess.
Yeah, so she'd only dropped 1 belt, which was the New Japan Strong Women's Championship, which she dropped obviously in a 3-way, so she didn't get pinned.
Yeah,
so,
that was recently, wasn't it, as well?
That was which?
That was recently, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like 2 months ago, and then she won like 2 more belts since then. So
I've seen that she loses 1 but gains 2. I've seen.
Yeah. So she's got the match next, All In against Tony for the AEW Women's Championship, obviously, which she hasn't held yet. But she's got to defend the TBS Championship beforehand this week on Dynamite 300. It's the 300th episode of Dynamite this week.
Who's she defending it against?
Mina Shirakawa, and I originally said I thought Mina might take the belt off Mercedes, but then we've seen a backstage thing between Toni Storm and Mina because they're close mates, and Mina was like, no matter what, don't get involved. So that means Toni Storm is going to get involved, cost Mina the match, so then Mina's probably going to end up costing Toni the world title at All In. I don't know how I feel about that, but there we go.
I hate it when we can call what happens. Like I was saying to you, I called the Haikulu fucking thing, didn't I, last night? I was saying to you, I bet you Solo went to by Haikulu interfering, and he did.
Yeah, Hikaleu.
Yeah, whatever they call him, I don't know.
What's he called now? Talatonga or something?
I don't know what Michael Cole was saying like that, but I don't think he actually said his name. I think he was saying the brothers, and then he was like, he's the brothers of these.
Yeah, these brothers then, but they were saying, they come out last night on Twitter and that they were saying apparently his name's going to be like Talatonga. So it's going to be like Tongaloa, Tomatonga, and Talatonga. And it's like, oh my God. And JC Mateo.
JC.
Jeff
Mateo. I've seen HK Mateo. That was another one I heard.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right. Who have you got in at number 2 then?
So Mercedes. No, I'm joking. We are not copying this time. I have a different person. So at number 2, I have Io Sky. You know, she's easily one of the best, like Japanese wrestlers to come over from Japan to WWE, and like she's definitely 100% one of the best WWE women's wrestlers that there is right now. She's won multiple world titles. Well, she's on her 2nd world title reign at the moment. She's won both. She's won the women's WWE championship, and she's on the women's world championship at the moment. And yeah, great. And to be honest, when she
defended against at WrestleMania, is it Triple Threat?
The Triple Threat was Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, and it was a good match. It was a good match. I enjoyed it. You know, she's an absolutely great in NXT, and then she come up. Um, she was over at some point, but it wasn't completely over with like Vince and stuff like that. So she wasn't
Yeah.
really up there. You know, she was thrown in tag teams. But now, you know, she's just won her second world title on the main roster in 2 years. She's been a Money in the Bank winner too.
Yeah.
She's been multiple time tag team champions. Actually, I think she might have only won it once. I think. Oh no, 2 times. Sorry, yeah, she's won it twice. I think they were with Dakota Kai, both of them. Uh,
Possibly.
yeah, but hopefully now we got a little tease of Oscar versus Io Sky on Raw when he had a little backstage thing. Obviously, Oscar didn't win the Queen of the Ring, but we could still quite possibly see both of them face off against each other at SummerSlam,
Yeah.
maybe.
Jade winning
Um,
King of the Ring was pointless.
yeah, really was. She didn't need to win it. Like they can just throw her against Tiffany Stratton if they really want
She
to. Like the
she
fans would
gets
be.
the title. It's for the title, isn't it? Didn't they get a title shot at
Yeah,
SummerSlam now? Don't they?
yeah.
So yeah, like you say, Oscar could have faced Io at SummerSlam. I mean, they could still already go that way. I mean, there's enough history there. I mean, that's the match I'd rather watch. Io Sky and Oscar or Tiffany Stratton and Jay Cargill. I mean, it's a no brainer.
Yeah, I know it is. Like Io Sky versus Oscar, 100% gonna. If it happens, definitely gonna be 100% below. It's gonna be so good.
Io just missed out on mine. Like I said to you before, when we were originally talking about it, I was like, "Oh, do we go 10? Because I'm missing this person, this person, this person off." It was hard not to put her in, and to be honest with you, I feel like if I watched a lot more WWE than what I currently do, she probably would be on the list. Because again, it's another one where I don't remember her having a bad match. When I have seen her matches, I don't remember her having a bad match. She's a really good professional, really good wrestler. Probably doesn't have quite the best character base, if you like. You know, for like WWE, they like the sports entertainmenty side with like the more character base. So she doesn't really have that, but that's fine. Like I'm not big on characters anyway. I prefer when people can go in the ring. Like Oscar is a phenomenal talent, and I feel like she's massively underrated in WWE. Oscar. I feel like anywhere else she would have been multiple time world champion over the last 2 to 3 years. I just hope that Io doesn't fade away when she drops this belt like they did with Oscar. Oscar, yeah, she's been a champion multiple times, but when can you say her reigns have ever meant anything? They're not memorable, but I feel like Io's is starting to become memorable. Like you said, that match at WrestleMania against Rhea and against Bianca, let's face it, she's pretty much the underdog going in. Even though she was the champ,
Yeah,
she was
yeah.
booked as the underdog going into that match, and then she'd
Yeah,
still come out as champion. And it was like, that is something people are going to remember. So if
yeah.
she can keep doing a couple of knockoffs like that, maybe even going against Oscar at SummerSlam and then beating Oscar, beating her clean, that is something that people are going to remember. So I feel like they've got a really good opportunity to build something great for the next 2 to 3 years with Io.
I think they'll if that does happen, I think what they might do is, you know, maybe even so they do Io beat Oscar and then have Oscar turn heel on her because obviously they're friends. And obviously turn on her at SummerSlam and then have this set next match at the next pay-per-view and have Oscar go over maybe and then win the world title.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm all for Io versus Oscar. 100%.
Io versus Oscar, I'll watch. I'd watch that over Jake Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah. Um, so what's with your number two then? Who have you got?
Jade Cargill. No, I'm only joking. Imagine. My number two is Timeless Tony Storm.
Oh, okay.
The current AEW Women's Champion, the only four-time AEW Women's Champion in history. She has and it's for one that Tim Man just said, I'm not big on characters compared to in-ring ability. Tony Storm has the best character in women's wrestling right now in the world. She has phenomenal matches. Again, it's another one that I can't say has bad matches. You know, she's had she's had great singles matches. She's had some really good tag matches. You know, she had the Hollywood ending match against Mariah May. You know, she's not scared to mix it up. You know, with the match where she ended up absolutely pissing with blood. You know, it's not normally what we're acute to see in wrestling. You know, especially if you mainly just watch WWE and that you don't tend to see women in proper hardcore matches. But she's not bothered about mixing it up and changing it. You know, she even got a good match out of that Megan Bain. I don't rate her. I don't think she's that great. But you know, Tony managed to get a good match out of it. She basically done like an underdog situation where she was basically like Rocky fighting from underneath. You know what I mean? That was a whole build up to it, because obviously she does like the Hollywood acting type thing, doesn't she? You know, Marilyn Monroe and all that.
Yeah,
So she was sort of playing the role of Rocky Balboa, if you like, in a way. But it worked. You know, the fans love it. When you talk about being over, I don't think there's many women's wrestlers in the world that is over as Tony Storm is right now.
no, yeah, definitely. I see her all over the time, everywhere, all over my feeds. Like she's everywhere. She is a really big thing, and I've seen a few of their matches. I've seen some of their clips that you always see of the backstage. She stays in character in these interviews while she's talking to the press, and it's funny as well. It's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, definitely agree. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Like I say, feud rivalry of the year with Mariah May last year for me in wrestling, especially in the women's side of wrestling. You know, but it's she's someone that has been able to do it off her own as well. You know, she would never have been able to have done this in WWE. You know, she's been given a chance to create something. She's created it and she's running with it, and it's paying off massively. You know, I
Yeah.
think some people laughed when Tony Schiavone turned around and said Tony Storm is his favorite women's wrestler of all time. And some people are laughing at that because it's like, oh, she's current. He's only saying that because she's in AEW right now. But to be honest with you, I believe him. Like, there is going to be a lot of people that are going to come away from her run in AEW and go, she's definitely up there in the Mount Rushmore of women's wrestlers. Like, it's a character change, her in-ring ability, you know, everything so far in AEW has been money.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So who are you going with as number one? Your top female wrestler in the world right now?
So I think I'm gonna do a little rundown before I go to that. Give you all
Go on
lots
then,
of
who you got then?
so,
5 to 2.
so number 5 we had Jordan Grace. Number 4
Yeah.
we had Rhea Ripley. Number 3 we had Stephanie Vaquer. Number 2 we had Io Sky. So it's only fitting that number 1 we have Mae Young. I'm joking. So we will have Asuka. Like 100%, she is my favorite women's wrestler of all time. And she's still active. She's just obviously come back after like a year off. Um, and the crowd is still behind her. I'm glad that she's got her old theme song back, because her old theme song just it's bangs so good. Yeah. And I'm glad that she's got that back. I love her face paint that she does now as well. The whole dark, proper face tone, like brilliant.
Just like she used to do in Japan originally.
Yeah. I can't remember her again. Another person that doesn't really have bad matches. She has great matches. Whether it was back in NXT when she was undefeated for an entire run, brilliant. And then obviously she lost to Charlotte Flair come her WrestleMania debut, which was completely a bad idea. Should have been Asuka going over, winning.
Blair Hogan.
Yeah. If anyone's Hogan, yeah, definitely. But yeah, 100% Asuka is just like a move set and her style in the ring. She's like, isn't she in her late 40s now or something, like 50s?
Definitely in the 40s, yeah.
Yeah. She's old anyway, we know that, but she moves like she's in her early 20s still. Like she hits hard still, and she moves like I've never seen any of the women move.
How many times has she been champion now on the main roster? Do you know?
So she's had 4 world title wins. Yeah. So she's had 4. She's had 1 NXT world title as well.
Yeah,
So
that was brilliant. I remember that.
yeah, she's had the tag team titles 4 times as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
Kabuki Warriors. She was.
yeah, yeah,
Who was
with
that with?
Kairi Sane.
That's it. Kairi Sane. Yeah, she's a good wrestler. I like her.
Yeah, she also won it with Alexa Bliss as well, which was a weird one. But I forgot about it, but then I remembered
I
because I'm
like
sure.
Alexa Bliss. She's
Yeah,
good.
I think they were tag champions when I went and watched Clash of the Castle. I'm sure they was.
Is that when they faced who did they go against for the is
Um,
that Bailey and Sasha?
yeah, yeah, those people that
Around
can't
that
remember
time.
their name. I can't remember what they were called now.
Best friends or something. Boston Hug Connection. That was it. Boston Hug Connection was Bailey and Sasha.
No, 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 no. It was Bailey and like Dakota Kai, their group.
Um,
It was Io Sky, Damage
Damage
Control.
Control. There you go.
Yeah, Io Sky, Dakota Kai, and Bailey. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Before Kairi Sane joined, but that was
Yeah.
because she
No,
at that point.
Oscar is good. I can't. When did she return then? When did she return? I know you said recently. Was it like at a pay-per-view or?
So I know it was on Raw. It was It was the first broadcast of the women's Queen of the Ring tournament. She returned.
That's why then. I don't think I've watched a single match of her since she returned then.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
sure it was. Anyway, I could be wrong.
yeah. No,
Yeah, like
she's great. She's a great wrestler. She's phenomenal talent. Like I say, for me, I feel like she's underrated. I feel like she gets passed off a lot. Like she was the one that they used to put over Charlotte multiple times, Sasha, Becky, them instead of her being part of that, being put over. You know, she's a great wrestler, great talent. And hopefully they'll do something with her this next year. Like you say, hopefully Io Sky versus Oscar at SummerSlam would be brilliant. But yeah, no, I've got no problems with someone picking Oscar in their top five. You know, she's a great talent. Just for me, I haven't, for the simple fact is I know she returned, but I haven't watched a single match of her since she returned. So currently
Yeah,
I wouldn't put her in top five.
fair enough. I mean, I'm more basing that off because she is still active, and
Yeah,
she's my favorite women's wrestler.
no,
Like,
I can get why you've put her in, and
yeah,
and
yeah,
like I say, I've got no qualms with it. It's just I haven't seen it. It's like you're not going to put in someone that you haven't seen that I've put in, like Mercedes
oh well,
Moné.
yeah,
You said before, you haven't watched a single match of hers, so it makes no sense. So my 5 to 2 was Rhea at 5, Stephanie Vaquer at 4, Mercedes Moné at 3, Timeless Tony Storm at 2. So that leaves us with the greatest women's wrestler in the world of professional wrestling right now is Athena,
Oh, okay.
formerly of AEW as Ember Moon. Um, Athena, she's just phenomenal. She is literally the best in the world. She's the current Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. She has broken records. She's the longest reigning Ring of Honor Women's Champion. She is the longest reigning champion in Ring of Honor's history. She's held the belt now for over 930 days, but she hasn't Roman Reigns it. She's defended the title over 30 times. So she's consistently defending it. She's also wrestled in AEW, CMLL, and New Japan as well. She was at this year's Wrestle Kingdom. She was in the four-way match at the opening. She doesn't have a bad match. I mean, she can face people that aren't as good as her in the ring, and the match still ends up being brilliant. One of my favorite matches of her run so far was against Nyla Rose. Like Nyla for me isn't up there is one of the best women's wrestlers. She's good at what she does. Don't get me wrong, and I feel like her personality is brilliant. Like I love watching her on Twitter and that. I don't think she's a great women's wrestler, but yet she had a fantastic match with Athena. They had a 2 out of 3 tables match. So each and every 2 out of 3 falls was a tables match. So that was something different, something new. Like I say, she come in recently into the Owen Hart Cup, lost to Mercedes. I do believe that they were supposed to face off in a rematch originally at All In, but obviously Mariah May pissing off to developmental cost Athena her match. at All In. So I think she's in the Casino Gauntlet match that they're going to be doing at All In. So hopefully Athena will take the win there. She's been doing brilliant things, obviously, over in Ring of Honor, but it's now time to get it on AEW, on the main show. And to be honest, I'd strap her with the TBS Championship. I'd have Mercedes drop the belt to Athena, because if Mercedes is going to win the World Championship, she doesn't need the TBS as well. So give that to Athena. But again, it's another one. Not had a bad match. And literally is probably solely the only reason I still keep in contact with Ring of Honor is to watch Athena.
Oh, fair enough. Why are you not a fan of the other champions?
No, they're good. It's just that they're not doing anything because there's just not really much direction in Ring of Honor, and it's so annoying. Like, I feel like AEW just need to admit that they need to make Ring of Honor their version of NXT. It needs to be like a developmental style type thing. Trying to run it as its own thing, but consistently bringing in AEW people, it's not working. You need a split roster. It needs to be its own thing. And I do like the other champions. Like, there's Dustin Rhodes, there's 2 champions over there, but it's just they're not doing enough storyline wise and shit like that to keep me, tuned into Ring of Honor. But with Athena, she's done the whole storyline with Billy Starks where she's took her under the wing, and Billy's challenged her twice for the title and lost. And I think Billy would be the one to eventually beat Athena for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. And Billy Stark's only, 19, 20? So she is the future. So there you have it. That is our top 5 women's wrestlers in the world right now. Let us know in the comment section below if you agree with any of our picks, if you strongly disagree with any of our picks, and we will let you know why you're wrong in the comments. As always, don't forget to give us a like, drop us a comment, and of course, subscribe to the Wrestling Group today as we look to push on and get our 1,000th subscriber. It could be you.
Could be.